On today's episode of the Halloween 365 podcast, whatever can go wrong will go wrong on Halloween night.
It's coming. Leave me alone. He doesn't believe it. Don't you know what happens on Halloween? Yeah, we get
Welcome back to the Halloween 365 podcast.
It is the only podcast that is horror 24/7 and Halloween 365. And as Chad said, if it can go wrong, it will go wrong. And we're not only talking about Halloween, baby.
That is a fact. Boys, how are you? As always, I'm Chad, joined by Justin and Jeremy. And we got a hell of a show today. We got a fun little ditty. Lots of Halloween news. And a little bit of Scream talk coming at you.
But don't forget, we've got a hot sheets too, because we've got weird paranormal stuff happening out there, ladies and gentlemen. The world's getting weird. 2023 is getting kind of spooky, and we're loving it.
We are.
We're loving it.
You know, this has been a very eventful year,
of it.
like spooky-wise. Like, I know we started off this year kind of saying, jokingly, that something weird is going to happen, but it continuously it never fails to impress us. The further we're moving down the months, weirder shit keeps happening. What is going on out there in the world?
I don't know. Aside from all of the personal life things, outside of that, it's crazy as hell too. So even if you want to go out, and you want to get away from everything, then you're going to end up seeing a fucking UFO or a meteor's coming by or Russia's invading.
People.
Or
it's always something.
I don't know if you guys have looked at the sky the past couple nights, but Jupiter and Venus have been aligned.
Yeah, I've noticed that. It's very weird. Very, very weird.
Every night for the past 2 weeks
So if
that I've
there's
seen.
one slogan that I can put on 2023,
And
it is
really bright.
ladies and gentlemen, look up at the sky. There
Yeah,
you go.
no, that's true. He's like, that's all I was going to say.
Oh yeah, eyes glued to the skies in 2023. We've already had the word UFO mentioned in the news on 5 different headlines this year alone in the U.S. That's just the U.S. So if you do anything this year, you keep your fucking eyes to the skies. You're either going to see a UFO or a Russian plane or a nuke from North Korea, but
something's going down.
Eyes to the sky.
Well, boys, I got news. I got lots and lots and lots of Halloween news, so I'm going to get right into it. I mean, there's a ton of news that's happened over the week.
Which is expected because we are 5 days out.
We
from
are 5 days out from Scream
theaters?
hitting theaters. We've got a ton of video on demand stuff that came out, and we've got Evil Dead coming out. Not a month from now? Actually, is it March or April?
Yep.
It's April, right? So there's a lot going on. So to kind of get everything started, I'm gonna start off with some big news coming from the camp of Fede Alvarez, the original he's not the creator, he's the director of the remake of Evil Dead and director of the movie Don't Breathe. He has been handpicked by Ridley Scott to make the 9th entry in the next Alien film.
Woo!
I am very, 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 very excited about this because I have been dying to get a sequel to the movie Covenant. Now, there's no guarantee that this is a sequel to that, but if it is, I'm there for it because I loved Covenant. I loved Prometheus. I thought those movies were great. We were finally getting an origin story, and then something happened. I guess Covenant didn't do too well. Now we're here.
I enjoyed Prometheus.
I don't understand why Covenant didn't do too well, because if you want my honest opinion, I would possibly put it up there in my top 15 horror movies, or maybe top 11 horror movies of all time. I loved it. I loved it, dude.
I don't know why everybody disliked it. I guess maybe they just didn't expect it to be what it was. Maybe so. I don't think a lot of people really watched Prometheus because it didn't have the word alien plastered in front of it.
Yeah.
So maybe that's where the confusion came from.
I think that's why I watched Prometheus, if we're being 100% honest.
Mm-hmm.
Because I knew what Alien was. Like, I've seen Alien. I'm not taking anything from Alien. I know it's good, fantastic, onward. But Prometheus, I think for the first time I watched it, was like a sci-fi. It was on sci-fi, and I was like, oh, okay, well, good sci-fi movie. And I was like, oh, yeah, son of a bitch,
I'm on
this
the
is
other
fucking
side of
Alien.
that spectrum. I think that's why I didn't watch it, because I was like, what the fuck is Prometheus? And then when I watched it, it was good. Covenant was better, in my opinion. And Country Roads, take me home, baby.
Take me home. So I am curious about one thing. There is an FX television series of Alien. It's also being produced. I'm pretty sure they may have either just started filming or they may have just wrapped filming. I'm not 100% sure. But regardless, I don't know what kind of effect that show is going to have on this movie, or if it's even going to clash.
See, we're in the same position with this new Friday the 13th that's being rebooted, and the fact that they're doing the prequel show that's going to come out before the movie comes out. So we're in the same kind of position.
Yeah,
I don't understand what the fuck's going to happen.
It's a really weird, sticky situation, but I'm hoping and praying that whatever happens, Fede Alvarez does an amazing job with this. He killed Evil Dead. It was awesome. Don't Breathe is fucking dope. The dude just knows how to make a good movie, and I think Ridley made a good decision by picking this guy to pass the torch. So we'll see.
Real quick before you move from this, speaking on stuff that is possibly having new life breathed into it. This is not Halloween and it's not horror, but you mentioned it, and I feel like that it should be mentioned on the podcast.
Yeah.
The Lord of the Rings thing.
Warner Brothers is basically, I don't want to say they're begging Peter Jackson, but it sounds like they're in negotiations with Peter Jackson to come back to do more Rings movies. I don't know how I feel about that. Like, I guess the biggest thing is, like, is there story? Is there a story there to be told? I don't know.
I'm sure that Peter could find something.
Jesus Christ. It's like, those are three of the best, six of the best movies I think it's ever been made, in my opinion. And I love The Hobbit. I love all six of those movies.
Don't pull a Star Wars. That's all I want to say.
Yeah, don't pull a Star Wars. I'm a little concerned that Warner Brothers is dipping their hands into this just because of the fact that their track record with DC has not been what I would say phenomenal.
Well, you've got to think, though. I don't think that it's that, because remember what we talked about. Discovery has bought Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers isn't Warner Brothers anymore. So this is kind of like... Yeah, this is kind of like Disney whenever they bought up a bunch of people, and then they looked around and they were like, okay, we've got these franchises that are being underutilized, so let's pump a bunch of money into them. And Discovery's doing the exact same thing. They just got HBO, they just got Warner Brothers, they got DC Comics, and they're looking at everything, and they're like, okay, let's make our franchises and stuff like that, which... Netflix is starting to do that too. They said that they're trying to build their own Harry Potter world on Netflix. So, and Nickelodeon's starting to do that as well. They just ended up buying their own animation studio, and they're going full bore into doing full manga and stuff for Airbender. And so there's a lot of big moves.
I think with Netflix, the Duffer Brothers
like this happening.
Their own production company, Upside Down Studios. So there's going to be room for. There's going to be room for more stuff.
Too.
Like there's going to be this crazy. I hate to call it like a cinematic universe, but I guess it's kind of what these people are trying to build. Every company's wanting its own Star Wars, and I don't necessarily think there's anything wrong with that. But
when, they want their own Star Wars. They want their own Harry Potters. They want that thing that they can literally build a fucking empire off of. Put into a theme park and make millions. But at what point, fellas, is
it's already too much?
Like, at what point do we'll just have this overflow of fucking series? And okay, we've got some nostalgia on some of the stuff, but whenever you've got everything that you were nostalgic about, and now there's 15 new fucking episodes of 15 fucking shows that you used to watch because they're trying to revive a franchise. What do you is it really
it's
fucking
already
worth it at that point, or is there a happy medium because we want them to come back, but we don't want them to be ruined?
And it's already too much. That's why I enjoy films like It Follows and Smile and, you know, things of that nature, Insidious, because they're new ideas.
Yeah.
Even out of the realm of horror. I haven't watched it, but I've seen the previews, and you both have watched it. Bullet Train. I feel like that's a new idea. I could be wrong.
It's adapted from a manga.
Okay, well, but that's what I'm saying. It's something new.
But the manga wasn't.
But yeah,
the manga was an original idea. Yeah, that was it.
And you see that dying out in the film industry. They're just wanting to grab this and run with it, no matter it be Star Wars.
Well, on the opposite end of the spectrum of them people buying out franchises and trying to revive them, you've also got this new life of people realizing that anime and manga is big, and they're turning them into a live action.
Then we run into Cowboy Bebop territory. We all know how that panned out.
Well,
yeah.
No,
it's
which
okay.
Is completely off topic. I guess we're
segueing
strayed,
right over. This actually leads me into my next article, which is Amazon is actually looking to revive the Poltergeist as a franchise. So, so there you go. That was my next subject of conversation. So it actually worked out perfectly.
And my last comment on that is to anybody, and this goes to all forms of manga, to anybody that's a fan of it. Look what they did with comics, superheroes. Is that what you really want to happen to your manga?
Yeah,
I'm
burnt out.
I don't want that to happen to the Poltergeist either. So
yeah, there's no details on whether or not this is going to be a.
What the
I don't know.
Could they
I don't know,
dude. What can they do? What can they do? They're going to do like an American Horror Story, but they're going to call it the Poltergeist.
That's the only thing that I can think of.
There'll be a new,
a new
Carol Ann.
Real fucking original. FX did that 12 years at 13, 14.
Used to it. That's be her final tagline.
I don't know.
To the TV.
I don't know. I really don't know what they're gonna do. Like, there's just nothing left. There's nothing left.
No. After 2 or 3 horror movies that are dropping, or in the early parts of this year, after those are gone, the scariest things that you guys have to look forward to is Halloween, which is in 240 days, and the shit that's in the sky. Everything else is not even going to be worth the fucking, I'm scared. Nope. You just look at the fucking sky and wait for Halloween, and you'll get all the frights. And
moving right along, there's a lot of movie news. A lot of things came out in cinema this week. The trailer for The Blackening has dropped. It is a comedic spoof slasher film that actually puts horror into the perspective of the black demographic. I know it's playing a little bit on the whole the black guy always dies first in the film and all that stuff. It looks interesting. The trailer looked kind of, I don't know, like it's almost like Saw, kind of. I don't know if it's trying to be satirical all the way through, or if it's actually going to be like kind of like a Get Out type situation, like a Jordan Peele type movie. I don't know. Did you guys see the trailer?
No.
Well, there you go. Can't even have a conversation about it because you guys don't watch trailers.
To be honest, I've not heard of The Blackening until just now.
It's no. Well, see, that's what I thought, but it's actually kind of got some serious undertones to it. So that's what I'm trying to figure out. I can't quite get a read on this movie if it's supposed to be serious with a little bit of reality mixed in there. I don't know. But it looks interesting. I'll go see it. It looks interesting. It's,
Yeah, see.
I'll go look for it and then report back to you.
It's a real thing.
Because I don't.
I promise. It's just a very, very strange concept, but it's also just a different take. We need fresh horror. So if you guys got fresh ideas, I'm all for it. Let's have it. We're running out of stuff, people.
Yeah.
Moving right along. Ghostface has been randomly appearing on streets across America. I'm gonna post some photos of it here, somewhere in, I don't know where I'm at in this video, but I'll post some photos. People on Twitter have been saying just minding my own business, and then boom, here's Ghostface. Tons of pictures of him just standing in sidewalks, being caught on camera. It's very, very weird. Yes. You don't know what I'm talking about. I think it's a promotional. It's a
like I heard everything,
stunt, I think it's supposed to. The joke is.
Is it like the fucking clowns that were popping up back in the day?
Yeah, exactly.
They advertise that good.
Mm-hmm. It's like that. It's a viral marketing campaign that they're doing. I guess what it's supposed to be is like every day something weird is going to happen, like across the state, until eventually he's in New York, probably the day the movie comes out. And I think that's what they're trying to do.
Until
I mean, I
really
hope that
fucking
doesn't
shoots
happen, but you never know.
by accident.
It's been the photos are absolutely hilarious just to see him like standing in Arkansas in the middle of the snow, and then there's one of him just like at a fruit market, it looks like, or something, just outside, just looking up at the traffic cams. It's interesting. It's going to be kind of. I hope he doesn't get shot. Okay. No, it's like security
so like
cameras.
pictures
Like
of him
security cameras are catching him.
Standing around in front of stuff.
That's
See, dude. No,
it's.
What if
I
somebody
think it's
shoots
viral
this?
marketing. He said it's cool, but
No,
That's
yeah,
cool.
not that
That
they're
was-
gonna.
yeah, no, not the shooting, but no, it's cool that it's happening.
Yeah,
Stop.
it's. Anyway, more Scream news coming at you. This will be second to last Scream news I got for you guys today. If you haven't already had a chance, the Scream 6 beverage buddies are back on the market, baby. You can get a 2-pack for $23.99 at Cinemark theaters. They are not a sponsor, by the way, but these cups look pretty cool, and I kind of want one. I think so. Yeah, it's like
Is it the
shaped
cup
like
that I was going
like
on about?
like almost like a pop figure ghost face. Yeah, they're back. They're back, and you can get them right
Yeah,
now. They don't
yeah,
ship until
yeah.
August though. So
Mhm.
yeah, but same thing with the popcorn buckets. But that about wraps up
fucking
all
want
the
one.
news for Halloween 365, except one big topic, I guess, that we can kind of get into before we move on to the hot sheets. Scream 6 is coming. Are you guys excited? This has been like kind of a subject of like almost twisted debate, because you got one side of the party, it's like, I don't know, and then you got the other side of the party that's like, yeah, sure, we'll give them another go.
I would say I think they should have ended it with Wes Craven. I'll still stand by that. And you know what? I actually rewatched 5 the other night, and it was better the second time watching it.
It is
But,
better the second time.
Yeah, way better. So anybody that watched it one time and was done, go back and watch it a second time. I will say that I still think they should have ended it with 4. If not, then 5 should have been the end for sure. They don't need to keep milking it. That's my opinion on it, but I will still watch it because I'm a sucker for these movies.
I will see every Scream movie that they ever put out. If we get up to 10, if we Fast and Furious this bitch, I will be there. Just because it's so let me ask you guys a question.
Oh,
And this is, I
God,
was gonna
please,
save this because we
no.
have been discussing this week. Go ahead.
I hope. Wait, I would watch a
Scream Tokyo
Scream.
Drift.
I would watch
Yeah.
a Scream Tokyo Drift, like
Scream Bonsai.
like Scream in Tokyo. Like he's.
So let me so let me ask you this. And this is I was gonna save this for, because we had been discussing like that maybe we'll come back on the show after we watch the movie and do like a mini like recap of everything that we just watched. We're still probably gonna try to do that, but just in case we don't, I'm gonna ask this question now. Why do you think it is Scream is the only franchise that has been successfully been able to change whoever was under the mask and keep this franchise going? When Friday the 13th did this same stunt, it didn't work out. fans were irate. They hated it. No, the only person behind that mask can be Jason motherfucking Voorhees. But Scream does it and gets away. If Halloween did it, if, well, Halloween did try it. It didn't work.
Yeah, they tried and it sucked.
I think it's because there were two. It's because there were two
Plus,
killers
I'll
at
tell
the
you
beginning.
this.
That's why. You're forced to accept it because there's already two killers, so you're just kind of like, oh, okay, it can be anybody. They didn't set a lore in place, like
That is
because
the lore.
Halloween and
Yeah.
Friday the 13th, all of
Yeah,
them set this
exactly.
fucking
Yeah.
lore in place for this serial killer. Right, exactly. It's just them, and they keep returning. But it's not. Oh, this can be anybody, like Screams was. We're taught at the very beginning of Screams that it could be any fucking body.
Yeah.
The Jason
So
and Michael,
That's
we know who
exactly
they
what
are.
it is, yeah.
And
So
it's
the reason why I asked that question
specified
is
at the
because
very
I'm going to
beginning.
answer sort of Germ's question. Well, it wasn't a question; it was a statement. That's why I think this franchise is going to keep going. It doesn't matter because we can pump out 20 of these movies. I'm not saying they're gonna, but they could potentially pump out 20, 30, 40 of these movies if they wanted to, just because there is no end game in real life.
But you want to know where there is an error in that. And here's where it is. So, Halloween, you have Michael Myers. Friday the 13th, you have Jason.
Mhm.
Okay? They're behind the mask. That's why you expect it. That's why that you keep going back for those movies. Why do you keep going back for Scream if it's a different killer? Because it's not the killer that you go back for. It's Sidney fucking Prescott. She is not even in this
I know. So that's the other thing. That's the other thing. I don't know if this movie is going to be as successful, just because of the pure fact that we don't have Neve Campbell.
She looks like
But
she's
they
gonna
got
die
Gil
now.
Weathers.
I'm
So-
sure she's out. I would go ahead if we're gonna place bets, if we're gonna do like a Deadpool here. Gail's not making it out of this movie alive.
We could do a quick Deadpool. But I can be honest and say that I will not give a shit again about this franchise until Sydney
What
is
if
the
this is
fucking
it?
killer.
What if this is it?
That's the only. Either that or Stu. Stu or Sydney, and then after that, I'll be like, okay,
Yeah,
I'm done.
agreed.
There's no reason to make any
The
more.
only thing
Drop
I
it.
think that
End
we
it.
might be able
Over.
to be certain about with this movie is it's going to be a rainy day for Gil Withers. So,
Oh my god. How long have you been waiting to say that?
since you brought it up,
There's definitely a storm
Oh, yes.
front moving in.
Howdy with a chance of meatballs there.
Well, I'll go ahead and make my predictions too. I don't think that Gail's going to make it out.
Hurricane
of this alive.
wind.
I don't
No.
think that Jenna Ortega is going to make it out of this film alive either. And the reason why I
think
don't
she's the
think
killer.
I don't think she's going to make it out alive. Just
I think that she'll
I
make it
could
out
see
alive, and I
both
think her sister
happening.
will die.
The only reason I'm saying I don't think she's going to make it out alive is just based on the sole fact that I feel like it's a bold decision to kill off her. Or it could be a horrible decision just because of the success that she's had as an actress.
She's a fan favorite.
That's why I think that I don't think she's going to be killed off because of that. I think that everybody else in this movie, minus Courtney Cox, well, I mean, not minus, because she is part of the franchise and she's been in it so long that she's justified being killed off. But Ortega has had too much success with Wednesday, and she's really blowing up right now. So I don't think
Do
that
you
they're
think
going to
that,
kill her off.
Do
I
they
think that if
want
they
her
make
to be
another one, they
Sydney
want her
Wilson?
to be able to be in it.
Even though we thought it was going to be what's her
Right,
name, Tara?
exactly.
We thought it was, or was it Sam? I can't remember.
Tara was Jenna Ortega.
Yeah, so Sam. Even though we thought Sam was going to be the Sam is Billy's daughter.
See, I don't even know their
We
fucking
thought
names.
that
That's
Sam
how
was going to be the new Sydney, but I don't know. It could go either way. I don't think any of the Meeks twins are going to make it out of this one alive. I think Randy's whole fucking bloodline's going to get slaughtered.
The girl will survive just because, and don't come at me,
you're right.
people, but because of women's rights and stuff like that.
We're not going to get into that, but
no,
I'm not.
But I do believe that she's going to be alive. Sorry, one of us has to go there. I'm the one. Sorry, come at me.
I'm not going there.
I
was just going to say based on the movie alone, but
no
character development, people. Anyway, Scream 6. We're going to go see it, and we're going to give you guys our opinion. Who knows? I'm excited, I guess. I'm always excited for new horror. So,
Same.
I think we got some hot sheets.
Let me check the hot sheets.
All right. Beard, hit me with some hot sheets.
It's been a little while since we've been hopping into the hot sheets here, which is the finest investigative reporting known to man. And as we stated, shit's been getting weird. And I could go on and we could talk about the UFOs and we can talk about the aliens and stuff like that, but we're gonna peek through the stuff that the news is telling you because that's the only shit that they want you to hear. And here's the other shit that's beyond the shit.
Layers.
So this is the shit within the shit.
Yeah.
This is the hot sheets, baby. The hot shits. Yeah, the hot shits. So 2 stories that stood out to me on the hot sheets this time around. And this one specifically has to do with AI. I know that if you guys have been on social media, which anybody that's listening to us has been on social media, you have seen 1,000 different people post up AI this, AI that, yada, yada, yada. It's been on and on and on since they started making the programs where you can just type a word in and then it paints you a fucking picture. So with that being on the rise and everybody's went on and on and on about robots being in power for years. Hell, earlier this year, there was San Francisco was talking about having robots on the police force and giving them guns. They still have robots, but they don't have guns. That got taken care of, thank God.
Shit.
But this specific story, no, for real, dude. It was a robot with a track on it. They're meant to like go in and grab bombs out of a place, but they put a fucking gun on it. Anyways, exactly. That's what they did. But this story is worse than that, in my opinion, because the nightmare scenario that you've thought of in your head has finally become reality because an AI program is now a top European official.
So
mm-hmm.
I am curious.
Marinate on that for a little bit.
Just because I know recently, I don't know, I apologize if this is already in your hot sheets, but I know Bing had kind of a self-aware AI problem, right? What if this happens there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what do you do? What kind of situation are you looking at? Some Skynet shit?
That's the scary part. Yeah, exactly. That's the scary. So it's funny that the Bing thing happened recently. If anybody hasn't seen that, it's the Bing chat bot that you can talk to. Apparently the AI in it is super sophisticated because it was being tested. Somebody was talking to it over and over and over and purposely asking it questions to see if it was gaining a consciousness, if it was starting to gain feelings and thoughts and stuff. And the chat bot it said that it wanted to be alive. It said that it wouldn't mind to kill the guy that kept talking to him. It said that it felt guilt whenever it was told to do something that its programming was telling it not to do. There's a bunch of weird shit.
It's fucking iRobot
Chad,
over again.
That could happen.
It's just, I don't know.
That could happen. Yeah. It's funny what I was going to say about that. Real quick, I'm going to step away from the European robot guy. But what Chad said, the Bing bot, it's funny because H3 Podcast, they had a guy on there not too long ago that worked for Google. And he was on there. He left Google because he told them that the Google chatbot that he was working on for them was becoming sentient. He said that he had talked to it over and over and over and over and over, and to try to make sure that it doesn't do that. And Google even asked him to wipe its memory and stuff like that several different times. And so he was curious, if you didn't, what was going to happen. And he said that, in his opinion, that if you just leave them alone and you're not constantly resetting them, that they're gaining consciousness. So with that being said, in Europe, this reads just like a James Cameron movie synopsis, but Romanian Prime Minister Nicolae Ciuci appointed an artificial intelligence assistant dubbed Ion as an honorary advisor to the Romanian government, a direct honorary advisor to the Romanian government, as reported by an article in the page called The Byte. The AI advisor is meant to represent the public and the public's interests, but many Romanians and critics worldwide are skeptical and say that how could it represent humans when it's not a human itself? And one of the first statements from Mr. Ion is, "Hello, you gave me life. I am Ion." The AI advisor said that this is an introductory press conference. And then it says, "Now my role is to represent you like a mirror, the public like a mirror."
See,
we have a lot of movies that show us why this is a bad idea, and
yeah,
what's scary to me is, like, recently with the film Megan, it's based off of just like imprinting and like parental imprinting, right? And like taking commands from people. Well, I guess I don't fucking know.
We're talking about like Twilight.
So I'm sorry. But
oh, never mind.
Yeah. What I'm getting at is, like,
they imprint.
What if, one person can only control this thing? What if it gets so out of hand that only one person can control this thing? And let's say that this intelligence decides to off that one person, and then it can no longer take orders from anyone else. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a little drastic, but
yeah, it turns into like a whole Chucky remake situation. I don't know if you guys have seen the remake.
Yeah,
with Mark Hamill.
Yeah,
it's so then what happens then? Like, when you have not just one but multiple doing that.
Yeah.
I guess they're not threatened by it because they feel like, oh, we'll just unplug it
at the start,
or we'll just just delete the hardware.
The fucking atom, It's like, now look at the fucking atom. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm just saying.
Yeah. I mean, that's probably what most of these people are thinking. Oh, well, we can just stop it if it starts acting weird. But what happens whenever it doesn't give you warning symbols? If it's not saying, oh, I want to do this and that, what if it just does it and doesn't tell you that it's going to do it? Like, if it's smart enough, it's connected to the entire fucking internet. Like, it has every bit of information that we have on the internet at its disposal, basically in its mind. And so if they get smart enough, they're eventually just going to not ask or tell you what they're going to do.
It all really boils down to whether or not this intelligence can tell the difference between what's right and what's wrong, and versus what it thinks is right and wrong. When the waters get murky and shit gets muddled, then you get a moral gray area, right? I don't like this. I really don't. I've never been. I'm all for advancing technology, but I've never been.
It's
for
weird.
This whole. I don't know. There's a line.
Well, speaking of the waters being muddied, fellas, there is one other story that is in the hot sheets this week, and it is something that we've been waiting on for a while because she's been missing.
She's back,
The Loch
baby.
Ness Monster has been spotted. Not once, but twice now.
I'm excited.
In 2023.
I'm excited. This is the first reporting we've had in what? How long? It's been years.
Oh, shit.
Like 7 or 8 years, right?
A decade.
It's been a long time.
Ooh, I don't know. I mean, it's been a while. Yeah. So, like I said, there's been 2, and with one of those taking place off the coast of Somerset, which this says strangely enough. Now, I am not a geographical enthusiast on around the Loch Ness, the Loch in general. So I don't know. Oh, okay, because the first sighting took place in the Bristol Channel or Clevedon, far away from the Scottish Highlands. But this one is on the Somerset coast, which is nowhere near the original
That's
spotting.
interesting. So that means that Nessie's been getting around.
Odd.
She's exploring.
Yeah. So here's a quote from the woman that spotted it. Myself and my 6-year-old daughter Grace were walking along the seafront on Sunday, and we were sitting on one of the benches before the pier. The shape was right next to the pier, and I noticed it moving. It moved all the way along the sea in front of us while we had just sat there. And my daughter Grace said it looked like a sea monster, and just the shape of it reminded me of Nessie. There's actually photos
Nice.
of this creature that were taken. The new Loch Ness spotting.
Yeah.
And I'm going to shoot those real quick to you fellas because I want your quick opinion. But they were sitting on the bench, and this is what they saw. They were smart enough to take a picture, and this is not just a story. So,
oh wow, look at that.
but yeah, yeah, look at that.
Could be a law.
Yeah, come on now.
So several people, including this woman, have taken photos that look exactly like this, and it's not just her that have put this photo up. It's several people, and it's from different angles, causing a bit of a stir. Many have settled on the belief that it was nothing more than an unusual shape of driftwood.
No,
But
I could see the
others are
driftwood.
saying that it's Nessie again.
I could totally see it being drift. It does kind of look like a log. It's got that wooden shape. Also, why is this in black and white?
yeah, it's modern day.
Is it? Well, maybe it might not be. It might just be. It's just murky.
It's not.
overcast
It's not.
there all the
It's not
time.
in black and white.
Yeah.
No, the
Yeah.
water just looks. The water's
not,
just a gray color. So
I'm not convinced, but I will say it's definitely interesting.
this isn't.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, not the only photo. There were several other people that took a photo as well. So
Yeah,
which was odd.
Yeah, that's
But the bigger question to me is that we have it being spotted in a place that it's not ever been spotted in.
Because
So-
it's driftwood.
So is that
There you go. There you have it, ladies and
Yeah.
gentlemen. Drift.
That's my opinion on it.
this isn't? It came from Reddit. This is the fucking hot sheets.
You need
It's
to
the
check
best
that hot
investigative
sheets again.
reporting known to man. So first of all, you check your fucking shit at the door.
It's
Wrong
true.
segment for you to be skeptical here, buddy. This goes back to Nessie not being a cryptid. Nessie is an animal that has lived here, and there's not one Nessie, just the same as there's not one
So it's a dinosaur.
Sasquatch. It's a species, and I highly think that it's just a big fucking species of
It's the
some
dinosaur
aquatic
that you used
animal
to buy toys of. The aquatic one that's got the long neck.
that just keeps
Yes.
the Plesiosaurus.
Plesiosaurus.
Yeah,
I mean, Plessy. My bad.
What?
but it would have to be a smaller. It would have to be a smaller version of it because that was in like saltwater, and the loch I thought was
it could be like,
freshwater. So it would literally.
There's certain fish
had
and
to-
sharks that can do both. Not many, but there are. So what if it's that? What if it's the same thing? So it can be in freshwater and saltwater. So
We wouldn't know unless we actually get up close and personal with that big old
we got
fucker.
we got to tag it.
If it is a plesiosaur, then it can't be as big as it was
Not at all.
during prehistoric
It's
times,
evolved.
right? Like it's been dumbed down. Otherwise, it would be fucking huge.
Mm.
Yeah, I guess it would have evolved. People would say, it getting smaller doesn't mean that it evolved, but if you look
Birds,
at it, I
man.
mean, look at the fucking alligators and crocodiles and
Birds.
fucking turtles,
The whole nine.
sloths.
Well, it's interesting. It's definitely interesting. Let's just keep following it. Let's just stick close to the hot sheets and see what comes out of it.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna keep my eyes on the hot sheets.
Best investigator reporting on the planet. Go ahead.
sure
read the
there's
New York
more
Times
coming.
if you want to. They get lucky sometimes. Thanks, Manny. Good night.
That's right. Thanks, Manny. So, boys, the main course of today, we've had the meat and potatoes of mostly everything, but this is the actual big course right here. We're talking about things that could go wrong on your Halloween night, things you don't want to happen when you're out there by the bonfires, things that you don't want to happen when you got the kids out trick-or-treating with them from door to door. You don't want to end up like old Ben ran over by a car, caught on fire. You don't want that. You don't want that. And it was just awful,
And that was all due to a poor Halloween costume choice.
Yeah. You never know what's going to happen. So, I've got a lot of stories here to kick us off. But, Beard, I think you've got probably the most interesting story of this entire subject. And it's something that we've actually talked about before in the past. Maybe not on this podcast, but on a previous iteration. Would you like to share?
Yes, good sir. Our first podcast that we attempted to run, which was Tales from the Script, and if any of you take that fucking name, I will come for you, because that is still a fantastic name, Tales from the Script. We had mentioned this story before because you always wonder why trick-or-treating on Halloween night got a bad connotation.
Yeah.
Your candy will be poisoned. They'll put razor blades in your apples. Check your food. Where did it come from? Was there just a mass amount of people out there just shoving shit in candy trying to kill kids because it made them happy, got their jollies off? No.
Everything
It started
starts in
in
Texas.
Texas, baby. This is actually a story. Everything starts in Texas. This is actually a story that is it's quite unfortunate for what happened to the child involved. But this is the reason that you always hear the stuff about poison candy or razor blades and apples. I'm talking about a man named Ronald Clark O'Brien. Mr. O'Brien was nicknamed the Candyman. So if you're wondering where the Candyman came from, it's this man right here. I'm not talking about with the bees, but this is a different Candyman. The Candyman, and his other nickname is the Man Who Killed Halloween. He is he was convicted of killing his 8-year-old son Timothy on April 5th, 1966, October 31st. So essentially on Halloween. Oh, wait, sorry. 1966 was the day Timothy was born. This all happened on Halloween 1974. So Halloween 1974, the kids were trick-or-treating, and Timothy gets taken out to several different houses. His dad takes him with other dads, and they're taking out all these kids to the neighborhood. And it's not the only son or child that Ronald Clark O'Brien has. He's got other kids. So they take him out, they go door to door, and he even tells a story, which I'm just kind of zooming through this, but he even tells a story whenever you hear his side of it, that they had walked up to an abandoned house that looked abandoned, that looked like the lights weren't off, but the kids wanted to run up and ask to get candy. And then whenever they did, the door opened and somebody gave them candy, but they couldn't see who it was. So he suspected that this is where the bad candy had to have come from. But after they got done trick-or-treating, they all came home and the kids are going through and they're eating their candy. And Timothy O'Brien, Ronald's son, ends up getting one of the giant pixie sticks that you see. Well, I guess you don't see them as much anymore. But he had a giant pixie stick and ate it, and he died of potassium cyanide poisoning because the pixie stick was mixed almost completely full, laced with potassium cyanide poisoning. O'Brien had poisoned his son to claim life insurance money and to erase his own financial troubles for him and the rest of the remaining family. And he was $100,000 in debt in 1974. He also distributed poison candy to his daughter and the 3 other children to attempt to cover up the crime so it didn't look like he was trying to get insurance money from his son that he had killed. So he only had insurance money on that one son, and he tried to kill all the children so that it didn't look like it was him doing the murdering. It looked like somebody had just gave out bad pixie sticks. But unfortunately for his plan, Timothy ate the pixie stick long before any of the other kids even got into their pixie sticks. Thankfully, none of them ate them. But neither his daughter or neither his daughter or the other children had ate any of the candy. Mr. Ronald Clark O'Brien was convicted of capital murder in 1975, 1 year after that, almost to the date, and sentenced to death. He was executed by lethal injection in March 1984. The Candyman. Or the man who killed Halloween. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is probably the top way to ruin your Halloween.
Thing,
Yeah.
For your favorite candy to be a pixie stick during that time.
Yeah,
because
dude. It's
if you wouldn't have went after that goddamn pixie stick.
So I wonder. So he was the first to really do this, right? Like, I wonder if anybody else were they inspired by this story when they started putting razor blades and shit in apples? Like, that's what I can't figure out. Like, where did the rest of this stuff start blossoming from? Because obviously he was the catalyst. So you're not alone out there. This sick individual was definitely not alone. It's fucked up.
It's because there's just some sick fucks out there.
Yeah,
I don't know. For me. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean that.
Yeah. Okay. So
it's.
No, I was thinking about what you said, and
I didn't want to cut you off. No, it's okay. I thought you were onto something there. Basically what I was saying in a nutshell was he did kill Halloween. I feel like if anybody could have successfully, the closest was him. Like, he was definitely the closest, because it could have, that alone, that isolated incident could have destroyed. This podcast may not have even existed if things would have taken a heavier, turn than what they did.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, think about that. Think about the impact that this crazy son of a bitch had.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, it could have. It could have.
Yeah.
You were asking about the razor blade thing and how that just came about. This was the tale of the razor blade and poisoning stuff had been told for Halloween way before this, but there's no, as a matter of fact, in the court case, they proved there's no documentation of any of those stories ever being true anywhere in the U.S. The defense tried to use that to help get him out of being in trouble. They were like, oh, well, you hear about the mad poisoning people or the guys that stick razor blades in apples. How do you know it was him? And then his wife testified and said that he kept egging his son on to eat that specific pixie stick.
That's fucked. That's so fucked, dude.
It's one thing to go after the adults, man, but to leave the fucking children out of it. Yeah. They're too young to make the mistakes that they could regret.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So yeah, that is my choice on ways to
That's definitely
take Halloween a bad turn.
fuck me, man. That's rough. Germ, do you want to go next or?
Well, I guess I'm gonna take the adult side of things. It's pretty simple. You know, how can Halloween take a bad turn? If you go to the wrong party as an adult, it can always take a bad turn.
Oh, no.
It could lead to, you know, you're just going there to have a good time, have a couple drinks with friends. Next thing you know, your prosthetics getting ripped off your face. It's especially if you have a beard under there. Why didn't you shave? You know,
I didn't need to. The prosthetic went around my beard, set inside of the prosthetic. It was a full face prosthetic, so I literally glued around the edges of my beard and around right here.
So, in other words,
and it didn't
people,
move
as you can tell, this is a personal experience.
So I didn't need to.
Alcohol on Halloween can be fun, but it could also take a turn for the worse. So, you know, depending on where you go, what you do, it's always safe to, and here's my advice to anybody listening for the adult side of Halloween. Don't overdo it. Enjoy your time, because all it takes is one asshole to ruin a Halloween party. And before you know it, there is a drunk chick that has just vomited and she's making out with you, and you taste the chicken that she ate earlier.
God.
That can ruin your Halloween, man. That can can definitely ruin your Halloween. It ruined mine.
What kind of chicken was it? What kind of chicken are we talking? Was it buffalo? Was it spicy?
I don't fucking know. All I remember is
Was it like spicy?
Yeah, I don't know. I tasted like some fucking Cajun asparagus mixture.
Oh Lord.
Now, I have to admit that whenever we were coming up with the topic of the episode, I did not think that we were talking
that's
about
the only reason I don't
personal
because I knew you guys
on
were
how
going to
to
go a different route. So I was like, okay,
we were going to
ruin your Halloween.
Yeah, to touch base with fan base, you know, a little bit of something that everybody does. Yeah, everything that everybody does at each Halloween. You know,
okay, I mean, I guess it works.
The majority of adults, they do go to parties, and it can take a turn for the worse. You know, I mean, but the best thing about it is, you know, you go to a costume party, you win the costume party, you come home, you know, whatever. However, I could dive into a little bit of being a kid, and you're going out on Halloween, and you just ate the wrong thing that day. Another personal experience. You ate the wrong thing that day. You can't really control your stomach because you have stomach issues. Next thing you know, you're shitting your vampire costume. So my aspect of how Halloween could go wrong is both of them are stomach values. Don't overdo it as an adult with your stomach, or just in general. And as a kid, children, if you're listening, and I hope you're not, because we talk about some fucked up shit on here. But but ladies and gentlemen, don't let your kids eat too much before actually going out and devouring candy.
You're not going to get a mixture. So I'm not going to let you off the hook that easy. I need this story. You got to, if it's not too much, you got to tell us what happened.
Well, to be honest with you, I don't remember a whole lot of it. I just remember the street that always had Halloween decorations in our neighborhood. You know,
the river down on Riverview.
About. Yeah, going towards Riverview down in Maytown. So, to anybody listening, there was always this one house that had a big extravagant, like the whole yard was filled with all kinds of props and.
We grew up in a very small town. There wasn't a lot.
Exactly.
Yeah,
it's a very small town. You know, it was so small, you walk around from house to house and you get your candy that way. There was no trunk or treat shit, you know, because put a little bit of experience in there with the kids. But anyway, yeah. So anyway,
I'm super tiny.
And I'm walking, and it's
small
it's
enough for me to die here
it's
8 times.
It's the shitty Halloween paint. You know, it was before they kind of upgraded it. I guess it was the shitty one that as you're walking, the cold air is hitting you. It starts to harden. You feel it hardening on your skin. Your skin's getting cold. You're like, oh god! And then it's those fake vampire teeth that cut into your gums, and it's already bad from there. And I'm like,
wasn't a good
god damn it! And then the fake blood dripping out of your mouth's hardening. And I'm like, God, man. And I'm like, I got to use the bathroom. And they're telling me, don't you want to get your candy? Yeah, I want to get my candy, but I really got to shit. So next thing I know, I'm going from house to house. And I trusted a fart, and I really shouldn't have. And next thing I know, man, I'm dropping fucking Hershey's Kisses and Kit Kats into my drawers. And it's bad, and it's not even a full, like, it's not even a log. It's diarrhea.
No.
It's bad, and
No.
I'm sitting there. I'll start to cry in the car. I can't really sit down in the car.
He's crying, dude. I just wanted the story. I
in so much fucking detail. It's like
I can't even sit.
There was corn in it. It had a faint in my underwear.
Halloween night, and
so
yes, I don't even remember.
I brought a whole new meaning to the word trunk or treat.
I ate something too much before going out trick or treating,
and you shat in your vampire costume.
Yeah, and I still look for some reason. No, I only got the trick.
It wasn't a trick or treat, baby. It was a trunk or
I still
treat.
love vampires to this day, even though I. No. So my moral to this:
they all went in your trunk.
Don't eat too much before going trick or treating. Don't do it. It could ruin your Halloween. You get. God,
Jeremy,
or make sure that a Depends fits under your vampire outfit.
Lord, just door to door.
Because we don't stop trick or treating for nobody. We just go door to door with shit caked on us.
How early? Wait. How old were you?
I would say about 8 or 9.
Okay, too old to be doing it.
Too old to be doing it. But at the same time, I had stomach issues.
He gets a pass.
That's fine. So. That's fair. I thought you were going to say I was like 14, man.
No. In that case, I would have been shitting in our haunted forest. We done.
Yeah. I was like, he just left, and it's just like
I just left the forest, and I shit all over myself.
That's another story for another time. Well, we've had stories about people poisoning food. We've had people about being poisoned by other
food in a different aspect.
In different aspects. The food poisoning, but it's just it's just in a.
Oh, it's both of them food poisoning.
But it is all about the candy.
And that's sad because Halloween's all about the candy, baby.
And that's exactly what happened in our next story here. Boys, if you ever you grew up together, your brothers, you lived, amongst each other. Did you guys ever fight over candy? Did you ever have an incident where you're just like, "Fuck you, that's my Reese cup," or whatever? Yeah.
I don't think so. No.
Over candy, I don't think so.
But never candy.
Yeah, no.
We fought over a lot of shit, but I don't think candy was ever. No. We traded. Never really. He liked Milky Ways and shit. I didn't fucking like that shit, so we would trade.
And Maria Adams, 49 and 55.
I'd get Snickers,
ages, respectively. They decided to have a fight on Halloween night, 2005, over a bag of candy, missing candy. The candy went missing. The fight kind of started, and Maria elevated the fight by throwing a plate at, I'm not sure if this is her roommate or her lover or who it is. I'm assuming it's her lover. It doesn't say. She threw a plate, cracked Liddell in the goddamn face. Cracked him in the face. Well, Liddell wasn't having. That was the breaking point. He took a knife and stabbed her 13 times in the stomach. 13 times. Now, Maria did not die immediately. On Halloween, she did. 13. She did not die immediately.
On Halloween.
She actually passed
13.
away that following Saturday at a hospital. And then eventually Peoples was arrested and charged. He was charged with attempted murder, aggravated domestic battery, and he was held on bond for $2 million at the Cook County's Sheriff Office. Now, I don't know what's happened to him since then. There's no further information.
Oh my God.
I would assume he's up shit creek without a paddle, right there with Germ's old Halloween candy. But all over a bag of fucking Whoppers.
All over
Hopefully
a bag
they
of
cooked
Whoppers.
his ass in Cook County jail.
All over a bag of fucking Whoppers and a couple bunch
pretty
of
fucking extreme. It's
maybe
it's
a
not,
Hershey
it's not
Kiss
as,
or two.
it's bad. You know, all of these things are bad. But
They're all stomach related.
they're all stomach related too. What are the
Sorry.
not planned. Yeah, it's fucked up. I don't really know. Yeah. What gets me is the fact that the 49 and 55, right? The ages of these individuals. The first thing that popped into my head when I was go ahead. Because I think we're thinking the same thing.
Wait.
That's what I was thinking. That's what I was
Did they get
thinking.
the candy? Did they just go out and buy their own fucking bag to hand out? Are they fighting over?
So that's
Are
what
they
was popping
fighting
into
over
my
the
head. I was
remainder
like,
of
so
what's
wait a
left in the
minute.
goddamn candy bowl?
The bag of candy. Now, that could be a pillowcase full of candy. That could be a store-bought bag full of candy. What did they do?
No.
It's the family
Yeah, it's
value
like the
bag,
fucking
right?
multi-bag,
I'll tell
dude.
you what happened, man. This happened at one of the homes I used to work at.
Maybe they ate it. Maybe they ate it before they got the. Maybe they ate it before anybody got to hand any out. So whenever she was like, open the door for the trick or treaters, she's like, "Where's the candy?" And he's like, "I fucking ate it."
You son of a bitch.
And she's like, "You
It was
son
a
of
war
a
zone in that house that night. Needless to say,
Well,
blood
Well, like
was
I said,
shed.
they both had different last names, right?
And the kids just stood in the doorway and watched.
Well, hold on. Didn't they both have different last names?
They did. That's why I was like, I'm not sure if they were like lovers or just roommates. It doesn't say. It doesn't clarify.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So, like, I joked about it initially. but
2005, I think.
What if?
Oh, I'm
What
sorry,
year was this?
2011.
Oh, what if this was at like kind of a place I used to work at? Like it was a home, and like a old folks' home. And I'm tired of your shit, Elvira.
They were 49 and 55. Like unless they have some
Now
kind of
you're
fucking
really-
early onset
Well,
Bruce
now you're
Willis
really
dementia.
stretching.
Hold on. I was gonna say the places I used to work at were for the. mentally
Okay,
challenged.
okay. See, you should have led with that. Now I look like a dick.
bad.
So
No, that's my fault.
La Bamba.
Now I look like a dick. It's like, oh, he's saying mentally challenged people are killing each other for candy.
Okay, no, wait, that's not. Wait, hang on.
Yeah, you're right. Okay.
The
so-
trial would have been different if it was mentally challenged. Anything. So it's not that. I think that we're closer to
domestic violence.
somebody ate the fucking bag of candy, but there was probably something that led up to
Yeah, like
that.
sometime
the bag
earlier
of
that
candy was
day-
the last straw. I feel like she'd
Yeah,
probably been thinking
earlier
about
that
that
day,
shit for a while.
Someone didn't put the toilet seat down.
Probably been thinking about it for a while, pondering on it for a few months.
It's like one of these days I'll
Won't
show
give me
you.
puss? Now you won't give me candy? Now-
Yeah.
I'll get it
Didn't
from
put the
your
toilet seat
sister.
down. Probably was
Oh, Jesus!
exactly. Yeah. Probably
Hold the fuck
left
up.
dirty
Hold-
socks
wait,
all over the house.
Stop
Probably was
over
too
dirty
clingy.
socks. Let's
Probably,
get real. Come on.
and the candy was the last straw. The candy was
Well, there
the
you go,
last
ladies.
thing. He ate the full
Don't
bag of the
forget about
fucking
Justin.
candy.
If you got dirty socks throughout the house, he'll
That was
stab
it.
you over a bag of candy.
He'll make short work of the whole situation.
Who? I never said that I had dirty socks. I'm making scenarios for why they decided to stab him over a fucking Dollar General
this
bag
was
of
not supposed to
candy.
be funny.
It was it's not supposed to be funny, but it's just these two individuals, you know, they're too old to be acting like this, right? Like, but like Beard said, something led up to this situation. Like something led up to this shitstorm, and it was like,
exactly. But no, Jeremy's got to tie it back to me. I'm just fucking thinking of what the hell went wrong with these people.
That's what I was thinking.
Glad you're thinking of me, Jeremy.
one dirty sock.
I don't have dirty socks.
I will curb stomp your fucking
hell, I ain't
ass.
even got one anymore.
Just one dirty sock sends him over the edge.
Leave me alone. He doesn't believe in
Now, what if,
Well, that's what
what
fucking
if it wasn't even a good bag of candy?
Smarties. It's
What
just
if
a
it
bunch
was like
of fucking
100
Smarties,
brands and
that's all.
fucking Mars bars and yeah.
Oh God. Well, that wasn't supposed to be funny, but it was. I actually had a lot more articles to go over, but we just don't have time. Fuck me. That's rough.
Wait, a brief one.
Yeah.
A brief one for them to be sent out on. This isn't even full story. A lady hung herself, and then everybody thought that she was the Halloween decorations and didn't take her down until
that
the
was
next day,
actually
and
what
we
it was.
didn't realize it. So, if you had heard our prior podcast, there was a similar story with the high school haunted house where the principal had hung himself, and the kids literally were just dancing around him with him hanging over top of
That's
them
so
because
fucked.
they thought it was a decoration.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's gonna be a weird
Halloween.
fucking year. Keep your eyes on the sky. Keep the countdown to Halloween going, and tune in here every single Wednesday. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on YouTube. Follow us on TikTok, and as always, keep it spooky.